There is a reason I've always said I don't celebrate the wins and I don't lament the losers. I cannot lose in basketball. Seven straight top rated 15 time best bets in the NBA and college hoops. And this week, back to back college hoop best bet winners on Indiana State. What did I know about Indiana State before researching their games this week against Rice and Pepperdine? Absolutely nothing about the Sycamores, other than I always do well in the Missouri Valley Conference, and I used them a lot last year. But as you know, teams with roster turnovers year after year, it ain't easy. But easy wins, seven straight. Football can't buy a win. After starting the season so strong, the last 2 weeks have just been annihilation time. Yet here on the video report, can't lose in the NFL. Another easy winner yesterday with the Cowboys. So what's that? 24-8 free pick run with the NFL freebies. Also gave you Ole Miss last night. And once again, as I told you, when that line crosses 3, 4, 6, 7, and sometimes 10, I either buy up or buy down. And yesterday was one of those situations. That game opened early yesterday at 10.5, moved down to 10. And that was a situation I thought, because of the history in that series and because of Lane Kiffin's inability to put away teams by a healthy margin. Think about it. You buy down to 10, you got them at 9.5. The game finishes at 10, you pick up a win, so a 2-0 sweep. So I've got a number of complimentary plays here for this Friday card. It's not a great card, but there's some decent games, and we'll get to them in a second. Hey, listen, guys, I just want to tell you, a guy that I did the college football show last year with on numerous occasions, and a guy that I've known now for, oh my gosh, 35 years, one of my best friends, Rick Torino. If you're looking for one big play today, you might want to check it out over at DeMarcosports.com, because he has his all-in college football play, the 22nd ever such release since he joined the site last year. He is 17-4 with them lifetime, 5-0 this season, and he's got his big one today on Oregon State. And then once again, it's available for over half price off. Over the last 16 weeks, he's made $10 bettors a little over $16,000. So you might want to check it out over at DeMarcosports.com. And by the way, as usual, if you've not taken advantage of it's the 2-day all access pass. You see the offer there at the bottom of the screen. You can get Rick's plays, all the plays of all the handicappers today for free, plus another bonus day. You get to choose. It could be tomorrow. It could be Sunday. It's $109 value today for free, and $109 the next time. You get them for free. If you've never taken advantage of it before, go check it out over at DeMarcosports.com. Okay, enough with all that, and let's get to your complimentary plays. I think my best play today would actually be Boise State minus the points at home against Air Force. It's hard to believe, Boise State fired their head coach 2 Sundays ago. I think it was November 12th. And then they were coming off a win against New Mexico, but they fired Andy Avalos because they said he wasn't getting the job done in non-conference games, which he wasn't. And they didn't like the direction the program was going in. So they promoted the offensive analyst or offensive play caller, Spencer Danielson. And then they go to Utah State last week, and they win that game easily 45-10. Now they are in the position today, hosting Air Force, that if they win this game and UNLV beats San Jose State tomorrow, they will probably advance to play in the Mountain West Championship title game. Even if San Jose State beats UNLV tomorrow, because of some bizarre rules in the Mountain West Conference, there is still a possibility that Boise State could advance to the title game and play UNLV. Don't ask me. I'd have to go to MIT to figure out the rules and regulations of the Mountain West Conference. But I'm looking at this, and I'm looking at the 7-point number. If this was a month ago, I probably would have told you to take Air Force. But this is not the same Air Force team that had mowed through the beginning portion of their season going 8-0. And everything turned 4 weeks ago when Air Force hosted Army. Remember that game? They were like a 23.5 point favorite, and they lost that game outright at home. No, they were an 18.5 point favorite, and they lost that game outright at home 23-3. Then they go to Hawaii the next week, and you figure, okay, they're going to have a little bit of a letdown. But who thought that they would lose that game outright 27-13? Now, I'm not surprised that they lost to UNLV last week. I am surprised in the way they lost that game because they were up 24-7, and UNLV came storming back and won that game 31-27. So that's three straight losses for Air Force. And they've suffered a number of significant injuries as well. Their starting quarterback, I believe you pronounce his last name, Zach Larrier, is not going to be available today. Their top running back is not going to be available today. And for what it's worth, their top wide receiver is not going to be available today. So a plethora of injuries. And you've got Boise State playing so damn well right now and momentum on their side. So I like Boise State at home in this spot. And by the way, when I looked at the box score last week, and then I was reading some different Boise State blogs are great to get information for their teams. I've always relied on beat writers, but as newspapers have folded over the years and been bought up by syndicates who don't care and lay off most of their staff, my eyes and ears, the beat writers have more or less disappeared. So nowadays you have to rely on blogsters who are out there covering teams for you on a daily basis. They are my eyes and ears. I was reading in a couple of different blogs that last week, Boise State had their top two running backs, George Halani and Ashton Genty. For the first time this season, they had both backs available at the same time. Well, Halani had matched his career high with 178 yards. Genty had 85 yards on 12 carries after missing the previous two games. For Halani, it was only his fifth game playing this season. And as a team, Boise State ran for a season-high 352 yards at Utah State. So I would take Boise State. Again, that line is 7, and I'm buying down to half point here on the Broncos. Your other games, this is where the quality drops off substantially, okay? I'm going to go with Oklahoma, minus the 10, at home today against TCU. But there is that little asterisk that comes into play here. Is Dillon Gabriel going to play? He left last week's game with that upper body injury. Probably was a concussion, but we don't know exactly for sure. Brent Venables said a couple of days ago that he was probably going to be available today. Brent did not call me last night at home. He did not break bread at the dinner table either with me. I don't know. We invited him for Thanksgiving. Maybe he didn't want Italian food. I'm not sure. We don't do turkey. We do Italian in my family. I'm not exactly sure. But the thing is, I like them with Gabriel, especially on senior day playing at home. It's a great opportunity for the Sooners to avenge last year's 55-24 loss. They had won the previous 8 meetings in this series. What can I tell you? I think he's going to play. TCU is 0-6 straight up in Norman since 2005. So I do like Oklahoma, but I'm doing this video report at 5:30 Eastern time this morning, and I've been working since about 11:30 last night, and I have checked throughout the morning at different blogs and different websites. I have seen nothing more updated there about that. Toledo is minus 10.5 today at Central Michigan. Now, Central Michigan has been lousy. Central Michigan 1-6 ATS and MAC play this season. The thing is, this game means nothing to Toledo. They are totally focused on the MAC championship game coming up at Ford Field. This game means nothing to them. You saw last week, about a week and a half ago, when they were on the road against Bowling Green, they were down 28-10 at halftime and then had to rally for a 32-31 win. Is there a possibility with a team that has won 10 straight games, their only loss in their season opener in Illinois, that they still might be able to sneak into a New Year's Day Bowl 6 game? Possible, but probably unlikely. So, yeah, there is a little bit of incentive there. I think they win the game, but I would be more willing to grab the 10.5 points here with Central Michigan in this contest. But again, not a great game that you want to bet. And then we've got Penn State. James Franklin against a bad team. Isn't that like guaranteed money? And you see how bettors have just flocked to Penn State, pushing this line from 20 up to 22.5 points here at 5:30 this morning. This game, of course, is not in East Lansing. It is actually in Detroit at Ford Field. being in a covered stadium. Hopefully they will play better than the Lions did yesterday, but that fast turf certainly favors the Lions' athleticism. And supposedly Drew Aller, the starting quarterback, 61% completions, 21 touchdowns, 1 interception, is in line to return today for the Lions, who of course fired their offensive coordinator. So maybe they'll actually take advantage of their 2 stud running backs and actually, run the ball a little more frequently against a Michigan State defense that can't stop anybody. You look at Michigan State this year against the 3 best teams on their schedule. They've allowed 34, 49, and 35 points. I think Penn State can cover this game. So if I had to rank, one more. I was going to give you UTSA because they've been on quite a roll. But, that 3-point spread, 3.5 at Tulane, the more I thought about it today going on and off, I just don't like that game as much because today will be a day Tulane will rise up and actually cover a spread. So of those 3 plays, naturally, Boise State would be number 1. Oklahoma, I'm praying that Dylan Gabriel plays. That would be number 2. Number 3 would be, in that third tier, would be Toledo and Penn State. I like them equally. But let's talk a couple of teaser possibilities today. 2-team teaser. Boise, just win at home. Take them down 7 points. Just win at home. Of course, I said the same thing about the Detroit Lions yesterday with my best bet. You saw how that worked out, okay? Now, who are you going to hook up Boise with? I think Oregon. You can take Oregon down from 13.5 down to 6.5, maybe 7, because I wouldn't be surprised if the Ducks number goes up to 14. Oregon in revenge at home, laying a touchdown against Oregon State with so much on the line for the Ducks. They win today. They get to advance to the Pac-12 championship game in a revenge meeting against Washington, right? They also get to avenge last year's loss in Corvallis. I think that's a beautiful teaser possibility. If I knew Dylan Gabriel was playing today, I would have hooked the Sooners up in that spot, -3. But I think Boise and Oregon is a great 2-teamer. So just my thought there. Any other 2-team possibilities? I thought about using Texas there, but I haven't seen the Longhorns offense really come back and play well since Quinn Ewers returned to the starting lineup. So I was just a little hesitant about the Longhorns. But again, my 2-team teaser, I would put Boise with Oregon. And then revisiting my top selections, I would put that teaser right there along with Boise -7 as my top complimentary play today. So again, that teaser, I like them as much as the Broncos straight up. By the way, just a little advice about teasers. I never double dip. So what that means is if I was to bet Boise today, which I'm not, but if I was to bet Boise today, I would never bet Boise in a teaser. That's double dipping to me. Because if Boise loses, then I most likely am killing myself with the teaser as well. That's what I mean. Never double dip with your side play by throwing it in the teaser. You either bet one straight up or bet them in the teaser. Never bet them together because the worst thing in the world is to get killed by one team twice. That's double dipping. Good luck, everybody, and we'll talk to you again on Saturday. My God, there's a slew of games. Probably talk about that little game between Ohio State and Michigan, too. Good luck, and talk to you again on Saturday.